Welcome to Herstory Revisited, where we explore more than you ever wanted to know about things you've never heard of. Together we uncover the hidden threads of the past through the eyes of women, the unsung sheroes, innovators, and peacemakers who shaped the world in ways history failed to acknowledge. Woven through these stories is a golden thread, the evolution of humanity and human consciousness. From pilgrims to pioneers, from forgotten voices to transformative moments, we explore history through the lens of the divine feminine. Because history isn't just his story, it's her story too. Welcome to a special episode of Herstory Revisited and our special guest, Dorothy Larco. She is a new friend who I met in my mother's senior living facility. And she just happened to share with me the information that her job after World War II was to recruit and help settle about 1,600 scientists that came over from Germany following the war to help the United States government create what became the space race. And that all began in a place called Rocket City, which is in Huntsville, Alabama. So we're about to watch that interview. But before we do, I want to share with you a few things of scene setting, because here's this woman who's in her 90s in a senior living facility and has certain memory issues here and there, and yet she's really staying up with a pretty advanced conversation about time and time travel. The thing that's interesting to me, I found out in the course of speaking to her that she was very personal friends with several of these physicists. Werner von Braun, the inventor of the rocket ship, was the chief scientist that came over with all of these physicists, but there were many others. One of them was Hermann Oberth. Hermann Oberth was actually the professor that Werner von Braun, as a child, 13 years old, became his star student. So think of like a young Sheldon and his mentor. So this man, Hermann Oberth, he studied the plasma field, and he studied space and time. Can you take two places in space and somehow be able to curve them so that the distance of space to travel between two different planets, instead of thousands of light years, is this short wormhole that you can hop across? So therefore, time dilation and possibly even the bending of space-time. And what would its impact be on reality? When I started my degree in international relations at University of Oregon, it was 1981. And they told me that I could pick anything in the catalog and sign up for it as long as it didn't have a prerequisite. So it didn't matter what the number was or what level it was. They would let me go to any of the classes. And they had all these classes of things I had to study, but I didn't want to study, basic geology and sociology. I wanted to, but they didn't seem very interesting, the prerequisites. Whereas there was a class on existentialism, and that was the first class I signed up for in going to college, was to understand the nature of reality. I had a bumper sticker on my 1963 Dodge Dart, very first car, and that bumper sticker said, "Question reality." And this became a banner of my life from the time I was 14 years old. I bought that car before I could even drive, and I bought it with cash that I had earned from selling Columbia records and tape. And that's why I also know every song from the 70s. At any rate, the point is, I had this very profound discussion with this woman, not because she's necessarily the physicist that found all of these wormholes and all of these innovations to thinking and travel, particularly astronautics, that because the Marshall Space Flight Center and the headquarters for NASA was actually developed by that team there following World War II. And I think the thing that's so astounding about that is my stepfather was a veteran in World War II, Gerald Cox. Sophie's grandfathers, one of them was in the Resistance against the Nazis, and the other one had his factory taken. And they ended up with Nazis on the terrace of their apartment in the south of France, looking out over the Mediterranean. So his mother was a prisoner of war at 9 years old during World War II in Italy with her grandmother, Sophie's grandmother. So the impact of the Nazis and the Nazi scientists and the World War II in general and what it meant to the world really can't be understated for our generation. And for those that haven't, that have come after us, that haven't really lived with the impact and emotions of the people that survived the atrocities in the Jewish detention camps, the people that survived the atrocities of the war itself, I don't think any person in America wasn't impacted. And the thing that was really astounding to me was to find out that NASA was actually founded by a whole bunch of Nazi scientists that America employed. And, you know, as a person who spent her career in international relations, I'm not shocked that we would hire our enemies. We do often, especially when they have technology that exceeds our own. But Operation Paperclip, if you want to know more about Werner von Braun and his scientists that went to Huntsville, Alabama, research that. But I think the interesting thing is that a number of the scientists that are missing, one in particularly was working on anti-gravity technology out of Huntsville, Alabama, and they say she committed suicide, but she was working on similar technologies to what David Wilcock was. And so you have to wonder whether the secret space program and the conspiracy theorists around time travel and the secret space program might still be going on in Huntsville, Alabama. There are a few other physicists that we talk about in this discussion. One of them is, well, Einstein has his theory of relativity. And Einstein's theory of relativity basically says every experiment is influenced by the observer. And so the observer really is impressing upon the fabric of the matrix, on the fabric of reality, and that there's this interactivity between the observer and the observed. That's what Einstein's theory of relativity is. When it got to time travel, the idea was, can you bend the curvature of space and shorten the distance between two objects? And Hermann Oberth worked in particle physics and what it would take to accelerate particles. And that's the rocketry side of the space program. And that certainly happened there in Huntsville, Alabama. But there are a number of theories that have gone around since I was young saying that a number of our other dark ops things might also be going on in that same place, and that there might be a parallel adjacent space program that's retro engineering UFO craft in Huntsville. And so that's part of folklore that we've heard for years. When I finally met someone who knew these people, I had to interview her. So let's listen to Dorothy Larco as we have a discussion about physics. Hello, Dorothy Larco. We're here in Highgate Senior Living with a very famous friend. This is Dorothy. Dorothy, tell us a little bit about your work in the 1950s.
Okay, in the 1950s, I was married to a physicist.
Oh, okay.
Well, he had majored in physics and math. and he was drafted and he was sent to Huntsville, Alabama to work on the missile program, which was a new thing in 1952, maybe.
1952 in Huntsville, Alabama. What's the name of that Air Force base?
The Army Ballistic Missile Agency,
Uh-huh.
ABMA.
Okay. And what was your job?
I was in, when they interviewed me for a job, they were going to give me a job filing in the library.
Yeah, that's what they
And
wanted women to do.
then they noticed that I could speak German.
Okay.
So they put me in the personnel department instead, and I worked with a lot of the engineers and physicists that were coming over from Germany.
Okay. And did you interpret for them or?
Interpreting was very, very minor. I mean, they were educated people, and educated Germans speak English.
I
well,
see.
very well,
Okay.
so. But my job was in the personnel office, and they were the German scientists and engineers. I was their contact person.
Oh.
Needed something. I don't remember what anybody needed, but it sure beat typing 8 pages of a single space.
So you were kind of a concierge then. You were hosting them and helping their families get settled?
No.
No?
I was just working in the personnel office.
Okay.
And, there were half a dozen or even more workers in that department, and just my part of it was the Germans that came.
And for those who do not know, Huntsville, Alabama is called Rocket City. And the reason why is because Werner von Braun, the inventor of the rocket, was based there. So tell us about Werner von Braun.
His famous line, I don't know how many people ever heard it or heard about it, was he'd say, "You want a rocket? Here."
What does that mean? He would just create it out of nothing?
Well, in other words, they were expecting to work on rockets, and they hadn't gotten the go-ahead yet.
I see. And how many German scientists were with Werner von Braun when he came over from Nazi Germany and was given?
My guess would be a dozen.
And the interesting thing that's happening right now is that the Large Hadron Collider has discovered a way to create time travel portals in space through accelerated physics. Basically, the collider, the Large Hadron Collider. And the interesting thing is that Huntsville, Alabama was very much where all of this work began. And you were actually witness to these people.
Yep.
What was it like?
I partied with them.
You partied with them. Well, tell me about Werner von Braun. What was he like?
Let's see. Did I ever meet him personally? Actually, the one I knew personally was Professor Oberth.
Okay.
Oberth.
Okay.
And he and I had a lot of conversations. Yeah, those were exciting times.
Yeah. Tell me about the satellite program. But it was very new. We didn't have any satellites yet.
Right.
There wasn't even one satellite in space until, I think, late 70s.
Yeah, this was 1962, maybe.
When the first satellite came out?
No, when I got to Huntsville.
Oh, when you got to Huntsville. Wasn't it 52?
Yes, you're right.
52, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a time traveler.
Yeah, it was, for somebody who just applied for a clerk typist job.
Yeah.
It was and an exciting time of life because it was just an interesting place to be.
Tell me about your husband. I mean, you're an author, and you and your husband traveled, and you have several books. I bought them on Amazon.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. The famous author Dorothy Larco. What are the titles of your books?
Wait till you've had different periods of your life, and they're kind of closed doors. Each one of them, you know, once you get inside, you can see the whole picture. But
Oh, I see. They're their own compartment. Yeah.
yeah, but Huntsville was an exciting place to be at,
Yeah.
for sure. I lived in a trailer with my husband
Oh, yeah.
on the edge of a tomato field.
Okay.
Smell.
Oh, no, really? Oh, okay. And what was his work?
He was a physicist.
Yeah. Do you know that they've found the Higgs boson?
I'm sorry?
They found a particle in the Large Hadron Collider called the Higgs boson. They literally call it the God particle because they believe that this one molecule is in all of life.
Wow, I never heard about
The
that.
God particle. It's kind
God
of like
particle.
like the main root of the tree of all sentient life. Like we
Whoa.
share in our DNA. And it's almost like a sound wave, a time signature, and a color schema.
Huh.
And each of them are different phases of the same molecule. And so what they're discovering is that there are overtones to each part of physics. So say you've got your physical body, Dorothy, who's here now in the physical world, but you also have the accelerated version of Dorothy that's on a higher dimension
I never
above.
heard anything like this. Where did you get this information?
Well, it's interesting because I study the journal Nature. They don't publish physics all the time. They publish medical breakthroughs and archaeological breakthroughs, but I didn't know an average person could subscribe. You know, like if you're not a genius, can you subscribe? And so I subscribed, and they sent them to me. So most of it's over my head, but I like to read them.
Huh.
And if you piece together these things, there's a man named Walter Russell who's a physicist, and he says that the physical molecules of the Platonic solid is not just a solid. It also, just like water has a frozen state, and it has a fluid state, and it has a steam particle state, and there's a fourth phase of water that they call plasma, which is the string theory. Dark matter really is this plasma field. And that each of us, as we project our thoughts out into the universe, project them onto this screen of the plasma field, and the plasma field manifests as reality.
Oh my gosh. Where did you get this information? That's not something
Well,
that's
I've been
taught in
meditating.
high school physics.
No,
is
that's
it?
true. I've been meditating for about 10,000 hours in my lifetime.
Wow.
So when you do a lot of intensive meditation, you move into other parts of your brain, I think. I came to understand things sometimes. So I'm
Wow,
interested in
how
physics
exciting.
because of that. Because physics may not be physical. It may be a sound wave, and we may only be perceiving light particles as they reflect.
Well, wait, don't most of us think of sound waves as part of physics and not the other way around?
I hope so. Which comes first?
How did you get into this?
Well, I do a meditation on the inner sound current. And when you meditate in silence for hours and hours, after about an hour, your busy mind shuts up.
Really?
Can
I
you
never
imagine
got
my
to
busy
that
mind
stage.
shutting up? My busy mind never shuts up. But if I learn to meditate a lot, then your busy mind shuts up, and then you can start perceiving other subtle things,
Really?
like interdimensional understanding.
Really?
And in the interdimensional worlds, it's very colorful, it's full of light, and The light and shadow is less prominent than in the physical world. And so in the light world, things move faster because the speed of light is 182,000 miles per second or something
186,000 miles
per second.
per second, yeah.
Right. So I believe my perception is in meditation, you step out of time,
Yeah,
that the physical laws of time no longer exist,
yeah.
and you can experience eternity.
Wow.
And I believe all of us do this. I think we do it all the time. We're meditating all the time. We kind of go in and out of these states of consciousness where sometimes we're drifting off into a daydream, and it's a dream, but it's reality too.
Huh.
Don't you think?
I haven't thought along those lines.
Think about your novel. Your novel goes into these beautiful areas of the Mediterranean that you're traveling, but your mind's eye goes there when you're reading it, right? It becomes a time travel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just like silent reverie.
You're bringing me back to a former period of my life.
That's good.
This is exciting.
That's good because you have a mind that perceives a lot. And you've been around some geniuses, and your husband was a genius. So
He was, yeah.
you had a great privileged view. We all talk about Werner von Braun and the people in Huntsville, Alabama in the 50s and how they revolutionized the world, because we have a U.S. Space Force now that is going to other galaxies.
Yeah, and we didn't have that when I was
It
in
began
Huntsville,
with
Alabama.
you or your small team. I'm just saying, several thousand people changed the world in a lot of ways. Changed the human perception of what could be possible. And if you think about it, think about this. This is interesting. From a time travel. What if Werner von Braun really was our first cosmonaut? The first to go through a wormhole.
You think that's an actual possibility?
I actually do, yes.
Yeah.
And I actually think that if he went beyond time at 186,000 miles per second with his consciousness, then maybe he's beyond time.
Wow.
And maybe in a lot of ways his work is still going.
Wow. Somebody wrote a book about that?
I think we should.
Oh, your book hasn't been written?
No, we should write it.
Wow. That whole Huntsville world is so far in the distant past.
But it's not. It's here right now, too.
Yeah, yeah.
They say that now is all we have. That there's only the ever-perpetual now, and we're just having different experiences of the same thing.
So, tell me how you got educated into this reality.
I started studying string theory after about 20 years of meditation. I started getting really interested in what is this field of consciousness that we're projecting onto. And there's a girl who specializes in what she calls the fourth state of matter. She says that plasma is what makes up the matrix, that the matrix of consciousness that humans tap into is just this field of potentiality. And we are kind of like radio dials that tune to different frequencies.
I think I would have to hear this 3 times before I can grasp what you're saying.
Just thinking that maybe what we deem reality is unfolding before us and we are in co-creation. Do you ever wonder, like, if you made this choice, what would it look like if you made a different choice? And what would the potentiality of that one be?
I mean, if I chose, instead of seeing this 180 degree, I was looking in this direction but seeing something different.
Yeah. When you're daydreaming, you do.
Yeah, and daydreaming, one sees a different world. That's true. Yeah.
It's interesting, right? I think all of us go in and out of these all the time.
Do you think
The
so?
phase states.
You don't think that the rational part of our brain just shuts the other part off?
Mine tries to. They want to shut you off, but
I suspect you've had an interesting life so far.
I have. I'm blessed. You have too. How old are you now?
91.
Wow.
And you?
Congratulations. I'm 65. Well, I'm 64, but I'm going to start Medicare this year, so it's kind of freaking me out. I'm not only officially a senior, I'm permanently a senior.
Yeah, that shift of thinking is difficult.
I know, right? The realization. You say that time doesn't exist, but time shows on my face.
Time shows up and tells you a few things.
Time shows on my face. Oh, well, it was great talking to you, Dorothy. I really, I so admire that you have been witness to a really important part of human history. When you consider that the astronauts are just now looping back around the moon, and what happened there? We will be a spacefaring civilization, but it all began with your team.
Yeah, and for me personally, it began with graduating from Reed College, and
You went to Reed?
uh-huh,
Oh, wow. Oh, see, that's why you're such a
majored in
genius.
philosophy.
Really? And then you married a
Philosophy
physicist.
and literature.
And then you married a physicist.
Yeah, well, he was a Reed graduate also.
Was he really?
Yeah, and physics.
Steve Jobs graduated from Reed College, the founder of Apple Computer.
Yeah.
What I love about Reed, I couldn't get into Reed.
Really?
No.
Your
I went.
grades weren't good enough?
No, I went to University of Oregon. Then my grades got really good, but in high school I really just didn't understand the point. If they had taught me about geometry and sacred geometry, if I had understood mathematics and why it was significant, I think I would have paid more attention. If they had told me that there's a song that makes up life and that our job is to tune to it, that harmony...
That's nice.
Well, it really is. I mean, harmony is literally harmony, harmonizing.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be a diplomat, I went to diplomat school. I wanted to be an ambassador.
Ah,
And I kind of was, in a way. I mean, I was in the software business, so I hung out with idea people just
wait,
like
you were
you.
in the what business?
Software, computers, computer software.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and the software were the ideas put into framework.
Oh.
And I helped these American idea people go global because Americans are really ethnocentric. They don't know that much about what it means to work with the rest of the world. And so I specialized in helping them understand
Which is
that.
why in Huntsville, Alabama, they imported so many Germans.
Yes, and Nazi scientists, lots of them. But we kind of had to, if you think about it. If Oppenheimer and Einstein could make a nuclear weapon, and they were both Jews, we could help them escape, and we would be creating the nuclear weapon. And that's what we did. And if the Germans, the Nazis, were on the brink of creating a rocket, and we didn't have the ability to do that, then we also played the other side, and we hired 1,542 Nazi German scientists to create NASA.
Say that number again, 1,500?
1,542 scientists were hired by the U.S. government after World War II. And they came here and we gave them refuge and we brought them to Huntsville, Alabama.
I guess I knew a lot of them. Bruno Mans, he was a close friend. So I
Really?
don't remember other names.
Bruno Mans was a good friend?
Uh-huh.
Wow. What was he like?
Not a show-off, pretty modest, likable person.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't remember what branch of physics he was in, or, what his work was. I learned so little about what was going on in Huntsville, Alabama. But I remember Werner von Braun saying, "You want a satellite? Here you are."
Well, he was a lot like Elon Musk, wasn't he? He was the kind of guy who could invent numbers of things and see the future of where they were going to go without barriers. And if you think about it, it was very prescient Because Werner von Braun wrote a book, Return to Mars.
Oh, really?
And Elon Musk created the rockets to take us to Mars. And the first places a human will ever live outside of this planet started with him.
Huh.
So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I didn't know that about these guys.
Right?
I had dinner with.
I know, you just had dinner with them. I didn't have to solve the planet.
Yeah, well, I was making that up, actually. I lived with my husband in a trailer at the edge of a tomato field, which was actually sort of outside the town of Huntsville.
Okay.
But I knew these guys. And when my husband had to go traveling on a business trip or something, I went around with these scientists.
Wow. Think of the witness of history that you are. I mean, that's just so awesome.
And to be so unaware,
of their significance. Right.
I mean, they were just guys I happened to know.
There's a man alive, he died recently, but his name is Richard Feynman. And he really coined the phrase about the singularity. He says that the human consciousness looking out from our eyes projects out onto an event horizon. And that event horizon is where all of life and reality happens.
So that's beyond my comprehension.
Isn't that crazy?
I'll take your word for it.
But think of these people. They were having these discussions. And what's crazy about Huntsville, Alabama, when Nikola Tesla died in the late 1920s, apparently a few of the U.S. Secret Service, including Donald Trump's uncle, John G. Trump, went to the hotel room where Nikola Tesla's trunks of research were. And apparently 13 of those trunks went missing that day. And according to the conspiracy theorists that I've studied, and I don't know if it's correct or not, but they said that those trunks of research in time travel that Nikola Tesla was doing went to Huntsville, Alabama, when those scientists showed up. And if that's true, Werner von Braun could have very well been our first time traveling cosmonaut. Right? And then think about what the physicists were doing. What were they doing there while they were sitting talking about the possibility of reality?
There were things that they had invented or discovered, whatever, which they were not allowed to put into
the public.
Reality.
Yeah. It was too powerful.
I guess so.
Maybe the human consciousness needed to mature first.
Yeah.
But I think they're finding too that for space travel, taking the human body seems kind of nonsense because the carbon-based body is kind of weak. So why are they creating robotics? So that they can project consciousness into a robot so that we have an avatar to live on these other planets. So maybe Mars won't be populated by humans. It'll be populated by humans projecting consciousness into a machine.
Excuse me, I'm blown away by what you're saying.
I don't know. I mean, it's just an interesting theory.
So where have you discovered books about these abstruse subjects?
I think sometimes we have things come across our consciousness that are meant to be.
Yes.
So I wasn't really out looking. I mean, I was a seeker. That's why I was meditating. That's why I've been studying my whole life. But I think sometimes we have an intuition in a dream, or we have an intuition in meditation, or we have an intuition just sitting in the garden one day. And that's where most of mine have come.
Did you study a method for meditating, or did you
I do, yeah. I learned from a teacher in Taiwan who was teaching a method of meditation called the inner sound current. It's like Kriya Yoga. You're basically sitting in silence, but you're tuning to the inner Om rather than Om. there's this harmonic at which all of physics harmonizes. There's a sound, an inner sound current where we get into harmony. And when we do, I think...
How did you learn that inner sound?
From a meditation teacher in Taiwan.
Ah.
Yeah. As
So
a woman...
went to Taiwan to study
I did. I lived in
meditation?
a Buddhist ashram in a tent and picked up garbage off the streets for Chinese people and, learned about chop wood, carry water, which is a very Buddhist Zen concept, which means understanding the rhythm of the natural world and tuning to that.
Must have been exciting years.
Well, I don't know. I was meditating 6 hours a day and studying sacred teachings in the daytime. It was like living in a monastery. It was a monastery. Yeah. Every once in a while, you have to take off and contemplate your navel. I did international relations, so I was traveling a lot, and I had a lot of access.
Wow.
And then disaster after disaster, climate change disasters started happening in the late 80s and early 90s. And so we had a lot of access to, because we were interpreters, we knew a lot of people that worked for different UN agencies. So we were just able to hook people up.
Sounds like your life got unexpectedly interrupted.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always said that we worked for a living just so that we could afford our nonprofit habit. We made a lot of money working in software, and then we would go out and do relief work.
And how banner do you stand under?
Liberation, I think, of consciousness more than anything.
Liberation of consciousness.
I think a lot of people get enslaved mentally. They get enslaved by their boss, they get enslaved by their marriage, they get enslaved by their thoughts.
One way or another, we are enslaved, pretty much.
Until we decide to free ourselves, free each other.
To be free, yeah.
That whole notion of liberation itself, because once we leave our body, we're liberated completely, right?
Yeah. So, different subject. Were you actually in Huntsville ever?
I think maybe in another lifetime, but not in this one. But who knows, with time travel, we could be there right now.
Do you remember how hot it was inside the trailers?
Was it really? Yeah, it's the South, right?
Yeah.
And tropical. Well, so are there any last thoughts that you would like to leave us about what it meant to be among these geniuses? I just admired you because Sophie and I, we spent our lives with the geniuses that created the internet. The internet operating system was developed at the company we worked at, and I was the global product manager, and Sophie was the global engineering manager. So we ran this steering committee, and it was kind of this privileged view on the geniuses that would change the world. And I believe you have had a privileged view on geniuses that would change the world. And if you think about it, before Elon Musk, to be able to take a rocket and land it back on Earth had never been done.
Right.
And so now that they have that ability, it's going to change all of space travel. We're right at the beginning of that.
So how long have they had this?
Yeah, exactly, right? And that's the thing that's interesting. Huntsville, Alabama is our secret space program, and it's kind of really top secret to the whole country. A lot of people don't know that we have these advanced physics
I never
things.
heard Huntsville described as a space.
You haven't? It's called Rocket City. Huntsville is...
rockets is one thing, space is another.
Well, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Rockets are one thing and space is another.
Yeah.
And space is a function of time, isn't it?
That's beyond my comprehension.
I know. It's beyond most of our comprehension. But I think that's the part of the space program that the government doesn't want everyone to know.
As we talk, a name has kept resurfacing, Bruno Mons.
Yeah, Bruno Mons. Yes, I know that name.
A good friend, a close friend, and we stayed in touch. I remember him writing, or I writing to him when I was in Hong Kong. I don't know when that was, but
Okay. You mean you remained friends after you left Huntsville?
well, yeah, very, very distant friendship.
Yeah. Still, you knew
But
these
yeah, it was
people.
exciting to meet people who were doing such advanced, interesting, important,
World-changing
sensational
work. Seriously, world-changing. Space-changing.
What I liked about it at the time was just, you know, I was an office worker. I worked in the personnel department, and that's boring. And, you know, type with 8 carbon copies. When I got bored, I just would call an army cab and go and make sure everybody's doing okay.
Okay. But you got to talk to them.
Yeah. It was a privilege.
Yeah, we are lucky to have witnessed history, honestly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I shook hands with Werner von Braun.
Yeah, you did. Maybe you're still there shaking hands.
Oh, yeah.
It was a pleasure to talk with you, Dorothy Larco, and Werner von Braun, and Huntsville, Alabama, and 1952. And it's a pleasure to be here in the garden with you today. Thank you for being with us.
And thank you for talking with me. It's been a delight.
Okay. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show, share it with someone else who loves a good story, or leave a review. It helps us to keep this channel going. Thank you for coming by, and until next time, stay curious and keep asking questions. We'll see you soon.